Farouk?
Yeah, no, and this just kind of warrants back to what I was saying about people on the outside, non-black people recognize how much influence and social capital black people have.
True.
Specifically, black people who are prominent figures or grass top organizations, public figures in this so-called activist space.
Correct.
Demanding solidarity from them because you've cast an aspersion or you've built up a perception of who we are and aren't is, asking black people to do labor for you.
True.
And it's asking, and we're not responsible for the perception that you have of us. We're not responsible for whatever you built up for us in your mind and relegating us to, nigga, you need to work for me. You need to show up in solidarity for me because this cause is important to me. That doesn't mean it's not important to us.
Correct.
That doesn't mean that we haven't spoken out on individual channels or, again, like Desiree said, have you listened to the last 3 weeks of this show?
Yes.
Well, we've talked about this in depth and had multi-nuanced and layered and complex conversations.
Correct.
Each of us having a very unique vantage point of what this war is, what this is. Mm-hmm. And each of us have a different takeaway from it. And we've talked about it now with ad nauseum for 4 weeks. Yes. And it's not going anywhere. But also, we still have issues that impact us directly, literally right in front of us.
Absolutely.
That we have to navigate and fight through every day. So it's like, what cross do we bear on Tuesday? Right. What cross do we carry on Wednesday? What cross do we carry on Thursday? And so forth. And it gets exhausting.
And you look at Miracle multitasking.
Come on, man.
During it, like, we do have mad things that we are doing. And again, I think, like you said, from the outside looking in, people don't realize, I think, all of the things that we do, all of the hats that we wear.
I have on two hats right now. I have on this wig that's wild itchy. You know what I mean? And then like this.
But it's giving you strength today. It's giving
I'm like
you,
Samson.
Yeah, you're like Samson.
Like
I know they say
Samson.
comparison is the thief of joy, and sometimes you
wow.
Look at come on now.
Trying to be like you, my twin. But I think also a problem is we sometimes compare people's activism by what we do or what we like or what we think. First of all, I have insomnia, so I'm always just up doing something, right? But when I look at things, it's stuff that is connected deeply personal to me and my friends and my community and the people that I build support with. 9 times out of 10, my social media, you don't see my friends. You don't see my family. You really don't even know me based on my social media. And so I use that as an advocacy and a tool to talk about the things that I like. My personal life is very private. And so when you see me doing things on social media, that is my medium of organizing. That is my medium of advocacy. Not everyone is the same. And so you can't compare about what people are thinking or saying based on that. We all have different access to power. We all have different access to resources. And so my favorite quote is bloom where you are planted. Because like people have to use the skills that they have to make the moves of where they are. And so that's also a thing. Just sometimes you got to give people grace and space, and knowing what you want may not be what other people are doing. And sometimes people have a long game plan. Like I am very reactive. And I'm very like in the moment. When I talk to Desiree be like, well, in 5 years from now, I'm like, bro, I don't even know what's happening in 3 days. I can't even think about like 5 years. And so when we have these conversations, we're all approaching things differently. But world violence and war, it's draining. A lot of us know all of these folks who are directly impacted. I know people who lost folks on October 7th. I know people who lost people before October 7th. Right. I am sitting in community people who are literally getting alerts every single day that they've lost somebody else. Yeah. And so this is hard for all of us, and we're all trying to navigate how to show up, how to fight, how to organize, how to save lives, but also how to personally survive, how to personally maintain relationships and friendships, and how to personally navigate what to say, where to say, not to take up space. And so everything is different. I organize a specific way because I have a specific task, because I am in a community with people who literally feel like if they tweet or post something, they could be signing a death sentence for somebody they love. That is why I organize the way I am doing. And so I would just ask people to just be very gracious in how you engage people, how you slide in people's DMs, how you call people out, because everyone is navigating this crisis differently, and this is something that is like messing with everybody's psyches, everybody's mental, and so just like calm down, find your community, organize where you are, and bloom where you were planted, and that's how we get liberation.
And it's interesting, like when you follow Miracle, social media is like activism and food. Yeah, I heard, Miracle, that you were having sleepless nights because Hurricane Keith Lee came through Atlanta and upended the whole Atlanta restaurant scene.
He has been fighting all of us.
Keith Lee touched down Atlanta and just
crazy.
blew that whole thing up. Shout out to Keith Lee. You know what I'm saying? You were saying,
so I was just gonna say, this brings me back to 2020 when everyone thought that the way to be an activist was to go to every protest that came up, and it's like, you have to realize that not everybody is in a similar situation.
Absolutely.
Not everyone is, able to make a living off of going to protests, and some people have families, and whatever the situation is. Yeah. Not
some people on probation, parole, like
1,000%. Yeah.
So it's like, we can't, like Miracle said, we can't expect everyone to advocate in the same way,
absolutely,
in the same manner. And just because you advocate a certain way doesn't make you top activists.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's just your lane. Yeah. But we have to realize that, like, not everybody can be the human heart. Not everyone can be the brain. We all have to play our role in this thing we call life.